Welcome back. My name is AJ, and on this video, we are going to be adding breakpoints and we are going to adjust everything in here so that it looks great on every single breakpoint. Now, keep in mind, this video is a little bit more involved, or rather, this part is a little bit more involved, and so it might have two parts instead of one. I want to make sure that there's certain points, there's certain topics that I want to cover so that you understand exactly how to add the breakpoints and how to adjust everything. So without further ado, let's get started. Let's click up here on this plus icon. Let's add the tablet breakpoint and let's repeat that process. Let's add the phone breakpoint. Now we have all three breakpoints, but as you can see, some items, they don't look the best. They need to be adjusted down here and also up here. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to adjust the size of this navigation bar. You will see in a little bit why. The reason for that is because the navigation bar, if you remember, if we go inside of it and we click on the color, we give this an 84% opacity, which means that it's see-through. So if I were to test this, hit play, as soon as I start scrolling, you can see the text behind it. You can see the actual image behind it, and that is to give it a nice cool effect. So this looks great. However, the image is actually, or part of the image is behind the bar. So how do we push this image all the way down here to where the bar actually begins down here? Now we are going to do that, but also since the bar or the navigation bar is semi-transparent, it's going to change the way it looks. For instance, if I were to select the main breakpoint, select the main container, you can come here to padding, and this is a quick solution. You can give the top padding of this main container you can give it a padding of, let's say, 84, which is the same height of the navigation, and there you go. The image now starts from here. However, the navigation looks weird because it's semi-transparent. So if I were to test this, it looks great, and that's not what I want. I want the navigation to look either black or semi-transparent. So the way to fix that, since we're dealing with a semi-transparent navigation, is to add a spacer. So let me undo that top navigation padding, and what we are going to do is we're going to come anywhere outside the canvas, hit F on your keyboard, and create a frame. Now let's change the height of that frame to 84 pixels, which is the same height of the navigation bar. And what we are going to do is we are going to cut it, Command X or Control X, and we are going to click here on the make breakpoint and select the main container and paste it, Command V or Control V. Now you gotta scroll down, you will see it down here. Click on it and let's change that color to black. And now we can move it up by using our keyboard arrows, and then you push it all the way to the top. And now, as you can see, it's right behind the navigation bar, and it's the photo or the image, it got pushed down all the way to the bottom of the navigation, and that's what we wanted. So now what we want to do is select that new frame, which is the frame that we added that's behind the navigation bar. We're gonna double click in it. We're gonna name this spacer. That way we know what it is. Now we're gonna change the size of this, or the width, instead of fixed to fill. So it's gonna fill the available space in the main container. And you see, now it looks way better. One more thing that I want to do is I want to make sure that the height of the navigation bar is a little bit different on every screen size. For instance, here's 84. Here I'm gonna change this to 74. And then on the phone, we're gonna change that to 64. You can either add the numbers manually, or you can hold shift and click the arrows to go down in increments of 10. And now that looks much better. But remember, since we added that new spacer and it has a height of 84 pixels, we have to come here and select that spacer by opening the main container and change that height to 74 here. And then here on the phone, we will do the same. And we're going to select that spacer and make it 64 pixels. Now it looks much better, and the image got pushed down. So we are able to see the entire image in every single breakpoint. Now, if I were to test this, you have a nice black navigation bar at the top, and as you scroll through it, you can see the image. Perfect. Okay, that's one thing out of the way. Now we're going to be dealing with the text and with the actual image here behind it. So first, let's change the size of the text. So select, for instance, let me select this one because this one I already added a text style to it. So let's start with this one so you can see what I mean. So once you select the text, you can come on the right hand side under text, styles, click here, and now we're gonna add a new style. After you click here, in this case, since I'm dealing with this text, I'm gonna make it a heading 2 because this is the biggest text that we have, and this will be the heading 1. So with the text selected, I'm gonna give this a heading, select a heading 2, and now it's gonna be added to this space. Double click on it. I'm gonna call it sample H2 for heading 2. And now I'm going to click edit here on the right hand side. You're gonna see some options for the font, and down here under breakpoints, you can click add breakpoints. Now we have a large breakpoint for desktop, middle one or mid for tablet, and then the small for the phone. So this text is going to keep its original size as in the large breakpoint, which is 64, and then here on the tablet, if you click here, and the M for the mid size or the tablet size is 51. I'm going to bring this down to 48, and let me scroll a little bit to the side so you can see the phone. If I select it, go to text and hit edit, now with the small breakpoint selected, I can change this. Let me bring it down a little bit until it fits there, and I can always adjust it later. Now let's do the same thing with the other text, the bigger one. Come to the side. I already had my new style added, but feel free to add it the same way we did with the smaller one. So click on it, click new styles. You're gonna get it added to the space, double click, and I name mine sample H1 because it's the bigger text. So edit and go to the breakpoints, and here the large one is 100 pixels, the tablet is 80, which I like. And let's see on the phone, if I were to select text, edit, 64 pixels, let's bring this down. I think let's try 48 pixels. All right, now the phone breakpoint, keep in mind that you might have to make a couple more adjustments because you're dealing with a vertical narrower screen. So 390 is the average size for phones. However, you get some smaller phones from time to time. So let's see, if I were to make this smaller, as you can see, the text got cut off here. So what I'm going to do is adjust the size of this text a little bit more and make that perhaps 42. Okay, and now if I were to test this, there you go, perfect. Now the text looks really good on every phone screen size. Perfect. Now let's move on and let's adjust this image so that it's not getting cut off here and here. So the way to do that is we're going to select the main hero image, which is a frame here, and we are going to lock the aspect ratio. Once you lock the aspect ratio, it's going to be reflected in every screen. So if I were to click this lock icon with the image selected on the main breakpoint, you can see that it changes. Now there is a problem here. Since we're dealing with a frame, this text is being placed in an, it's absolute position, which means that I can, as you can see, absolute position, I can move it anywhere however I want on the screen. But this is going to bring problems when it comes to changing to different screen sizes. So what we're going to do is we're going to undo that, and we're going to convert this frame into a stack. I like to work with stacks mostly because you can organize things a lot easier. Frames are useful for some things or components, or if it's just an image, but I rather work with stacks. Do whatever you want, but I really suggest that you work with stacks instead. So let's convert this into a stack. So with the frame selected or the hero image selected on the main breakpoint, we're gonna come here on the right hand side and we're gonna give it a layout. So once you hit the plus, it's gonna turn into a stack now. And if you click the text inside, they are not positioned in an absolute setting anymore. They are relatively positioned to the stack. Of course, you can change that to absolute and move it around inside the stack, but we're not going to do that. We're going to keep it in the relative setting, and you will see why in a little bit. Now, let's go back to the hero stack that we have, the new stack that we added, and we are going to lock that aspect ratio. And now it gets reflected in every other screen. And as you can see, the car behind, it looks just like the breakpoint on the desktop, which is what we wanted. All right, now we gotta adjust the text size. So what we're going to do is we're gonna select on the make breakpoint again. We're gonna select the text individually, and we are going to right click and add a stack. You can also use this keyboard shortcut if it makes it faster for you. That's what I usually do, but I want to also show you that there's this way to do it. So add a stack, and now there's a stack holding the text inside of the hero stack. So let's double click here and let's rename this to text stack. Always name your layers. It's gonna save you a lot of time and a lot of headache. Trust me on that. All right, now we have this new stack added to the hero image. What we are going to do is we're going to change the setting of this text stack. So if you come over here on the right hand side, you see that it has a distribution of center. What we're going to do is change that to space between. Now it's pushing the text to the size, or the top and the bottom. But because this text or this new text stack has a height of fit content, it's pushing the text together. So we're gonna change that to fill. So it's gonna fill the space vertically inside of the hero image. Now the text got pushed to the top and the bottom. And from here, we can play with the padding of this text. So we're gonna keep this stack selected, the new text stack, and we're going to change the padding at the top. The top, let's do something like 84. Yeah, that works for the desktop. And then for the bottom, we're going to do maybe 100. Let's see what that looks. Okay, it looks good. I might want to push it up a little bit more, so maybe 124. Yeah, that looks good here on the desktop breakpoint. And so now we're gonna come here to the tablet, and we're going to adjust again. Having the text stack selected on the tablet breakpoint, let's adjust the padding for the top and the bottom. So instead of 84, let's do 72 maybe. No, maybe 64, maybe 50. All right, that looks better. And then for the bottom, we are going to do something like 50 as well. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, we need something bigger. So maybe 80. Yeah, something like that. And then let's do the same thing here. Select the text stack and let's adjust this padding, and let's make this maybe 30 at the top, and then at the bottom we'll do 30 as well. Let's see how it looks. Okay, so might want to push it up a little bit more, so let's reduce this padding here to 24. Maybe let's do 20. Yeah, and then at the bottom, maybe push it up a little bit, so 32. Yeah, okay, and there you go. So now we have, if we give this a test, you can see now that the stack will adjust and the text also will adjust with the image because of the setting that we gave it. So even if it's full screen, that looks great. And then once I scroll down, I can see this section right here. It looks amazing. And then if we do that with the tablets, we can see now it's a tablet and it's adjusting beautifully as well. And if we change the phone, it will do the same. Beautiful. All right, guys, so I'm going to go ahead and end this video here, so I don't want to make it too long, and we're going to do a part 2 where we are going to adjust the rest of the breakpoints. So stay tuned because more is coming up.